Superhuman Radio.
It was dark. Is it 6? 6 is the number. Ooh, what's the number of 6, Andy? It's episode 6, and it's gone dark outside all of a sudden, very quickly. Things are feeling very strange. It's all gone a different angle, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know what angle that is, but it is a different angle.
I don't like it.
Maybe it's an obtuse angle.
Maybe it is. I don't like it. I'm a little bit unnerved, if anything else. More. Well, possibly, because there's another set of eyes staring at us, staring at you, Andy.
There is.
Fiercely.
Yeah. It's me old mate. It's me old pal. It's we've got Phil Goodall on the show tonight, aka Swirler Burner, the master of electronic music. Absolutely fantastic. I've known Phil for years, and I'm dead pleased that he's on the show. Really, really happy that he's here. You all right, Phil?
Well, it's an honour, folks. There's some quality on this show, and I've got a lot to live up to.
Commander Phil in the room.
Yeah, Commander Phil
in the house.
How many tracks have we got on from Phil tonight? Is it 7?
We've got 2 on tonight.
Is it 2?
We've got one called March of the Freaks and another one called Cyber Gangster.
Well, I had a bit of a listen to these this afternoon, and they're 2 very, very different tracks, Phil. And I love them both.
Yeah.
There's one I love. Well, it's just because it's right up my alley. I just absolutely love it. It's just, as soon as I sit with the first 30 seconds, geez, this is just amazing. I wish I'd written this. It's fantastic. I'm not going to tell you which one it is until we've listened to them both. You'll probably guess. I don't know. Who knows?
I don't know. I've got no opinion on my own work.
They're both belters, but one's a double belter.
That's what I've got at the moment, double belt.
So what, Andy? You've well, obviously we've got Phil in tonight. We've got a double belter from Phil, triple belter if you do with the 2 plus the 1. But we've also got some other significant tunes on tonight. I mean,
we have
every week you manage to pick them out from the internet around the world. Well, around the world, I say around Cheshire, really, more than anything else. But you managed to
around the A55, really.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, A55, anything 3 miles off the A55. Yeah. But you have picked up some amazing stuff tonight. Do you want to just give us a quick bit of an inkling of what we've got coming up?
I'll tell you what I like about tonight is we've actually got some fresh stuff. So stuff that's actually appeared since the last show 2 weeks ago. So I'm very happy to have been able to pounce on some brand new things. We've got a very nice one from Joel, Dr. Skyme and friends, which is, well, he said it was from 2008. It sounds absolutely fantastic. So we've got some brand new stuff. We've got a bit of old stuff. We've got something brand new from Rob. He's Etchasketch. He's put a new album out this week. I think it might be the first album he's put out there, but we've got one of the tunes fresh off there. We've got something from the head honcho of the Emon movement, Martin Christie. We got one of mine, and we got something from Fourth Eden as well, along with the 2 awesome tunes from Swirler Burner.
It's quite a night. It's quite a setup you've put there, Andy. You've lined them up beautifully as always, and there is a lot to live up to because we have had some significant tunes before. But I know what's coming up, and I know we've got more than enough to live up to those expectations. Well, we've got something really good to start us off anyway, haven't we? So we've got Sword Swinging Robot. So Phil, I'm sure you've had a listen to this one. What was your impressions of? I mean, Sword Swinging Robot. Matt is always great, isn't he?
Right, well, Matt, I love his stuff. It's fantastic. He never fails to produce quality work. I can't believe he's never been signed. He's absolutely brilliant. What did shock me to the core was he came from Penny Gross, which is Welsh. Penny for like cheap and gross for awful.
I
only know this place because I used to have to go there as a kid when I went on holiday to the nearby Dinnerstinkler.
I need to correct your pronunciation. It's Penny Grois. It's Grois.
Penny Grois. I know my Welsh isn't the best.
Don't worry, I'll pick you up on your Welsh at any point throughout the whole thing. Don't worry, Phil. It's fine.
But little did I know that was fate, and that one day, from that awful place, that I thought it was then, because I've been recently and it's changed. It's beautiful now. The investment that's gone into the place is incredible. But if I was to know what marvellous tunes were going to come out of that place, and this one that is done, I think it's like a Turkish delight. It's full of Eastern promise. It's got a razor edge of a flashing scimitar in it, full of mystical and spirituality that transcends the tune itself. I think it's absolutely marvellous.
Just a quick question though, Phil. So if you were to choose a Turkish delight, would you go classic Turkish delight or would you go fries with a bit of a chocolate outing?
Fries.
Every time.
Fries Turkish delight.
Time, good man.
Yeah, because we used to shoplift it from the PULS shop that used to be at Dina Stinkler.
Fries Turkish delight. And you can seldom find a fries, what's it called? The nice minty cream one.
Oh yeah,
fries.
What's it called?
Mint cream.
Yeah,
there was a peppermint cream as well.
It's
peppermint cream.
Seldom corner shop you'll find that in now. Oh, good lord! But what a wonderful description and perfect description of what we've got coming. Andy, I don't think you need to add anything else to that, unless you've
That's
got.
it. I can't take it. All I can tell you, it's brand new. It's a live recording that he did from a festival, not the main stage festival, but it's a pretty new tune, and this is a fresh live recording.
Right, well, let's all have an injection of Cadbury's Boost and get straight into Sword Swinging Road. But what's this called, Andy?
It's called Clockwork.
Oh, in that case, let's tick in.
Special about the human condition, and that is that if we give strength to others, we strengthen ourselves. If we give hope to others, we give hope to ourselves. I think there's something so utterly fascinating about the way that by giving something you don't lose it. It multiplies the goodwill and the sense of, I don't know, security and safety amongst us all. It's just important at this point to remember that there are others, and those other people remember that there is you. The only thing that will save us will be empathy, sympathy, kindness, generosity, and love.
Only Human Radio.
Wow. Well, yes, that was a Turkish delight, Phil. You're absolutely right, and it's a good job to have the chocolate outing on there as well, because I'd have been disappointed otherwise. But Matt always puts a chocolate outing on side. Anything. What on earth am I rambling on about? I've no idea at all. That was amazing, though. That really was. We've got something equally amazing coming up now, though, haven't we, Andy? This is a belter. Stop saying
This
belter.
This is a collective called Bad Request, and it features a favourite of the show, Joel, aka Dr. Skyme. He's gone. He didn't. I don't know if he wanted me to mention that, but the collective is called Bad Request, and it features a guy called Danny Webbucks, who I've not come across before, and his brother Sam. A brief explanation was that they all created a couple of bits for this, and that by using some kind of controller or something, they jammed it together, and it sounds like a fantastic way of making things, but they were each responsible for a little part of this, which they've live jammed into this performance.
And it is well cool. I sound like I'm trying to be 15 there, but yeah, it is well cool. So, Phil, what did you find? It is well cool. Phil, what did you find about it?
Well, I've had a good listen to it, and I'm keeping with the confectionery and food sort of themed reviews, and to me it was like some really, remember sugary jelly tops and sherbet being fired at a cowbell with a bit of beef jerky base coming in underneath. Absolutely fantastic. Put my teeth on edge in a good way. Fabulous.
I think that his brother Sam is responsible for the sort of string melody line in there, and Joel did say that he's a bit confused how come his brother doesn't really make very much music, because he says it's the best bit of this tune. I mean, I like all of it, but
it's fabulous.
It's brilliant.
Was it the bass line you said his brother's responsible for?
No, it was the synthy kind of the melody.
Okay.
The lovely sort of stringy synthy melody.
That is very nice, but I did like the bass line too. But it also, there's a bit at the beginning, and in fact actually throughout, and is it an accordion? Speeded up accordion?
Knowing Joel, no.
Yes, it sounded very accordion.
Probably not.
It's not an accordion, but it sounded like.
It does sound like one, doesn't
that
it?
was to me was the jelly. That to me was the jelly tops.
Was the beef jerky then?
The bass.
Was it particularly?
Chewing on a bit of beef jerky, low down, brown, dirty.
Was it particularly stringy?
Good, really good. Yeah, definitely a tooth flosser, sonically speaking.
Well, I don't think we could have described that any better. If anybody, nobody can argue with that. Surely.
No.
I'll tell you what, whoever's listening to tonight's episode is in for a sonic treat. It's amazing all the way through, because I've invited some new people to listen, and I'm very excited about this.
As I'm sure they are. Should we have a list to Dr. Skyme's song? What's he called? Oh, it's not Dr. Skyme, it's Bad Request.
Jib.
You're right. I nearly made a mistake, and it
Request.
is Bad Request.
Yeah.
Dr. Skyme is involved. Absolutely. Let's get involved. that speeded up accordion in there. Was it a speeded up accordion? I don't know. We'll find out in the fullness of time, I'm quite sure. Phil reckoned it was.
I don't think
it was. Phil's idea.
Like it
was Phil's idea, not mine.
All right, yeah, blame Phil.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds like
That was the jelly tots bit, by the way.
I like the jelly tots bit. Yeah, and I found the beef jerky bit a little bit chewy. Should we stop with that? For the yeah. Let's move on. Right, okay. So coming up next, Andy, I'm going to let you sort all this out because you're far better at this than I am. Phil's got something fantastic coming up. So do you want to just have a quick chat with Phil about this?
Yeah, well, coming up, we're going to have a listen to a couple of Phil's tunes. In the middle of that, we're going to talk about one of Phil's favourite bit of kit, or it's the piece of kit that he wants to talk to us about tonight, which is the Yamaha CS15. Then we're going to listen to another one of Phil's tunes called Cyber Gangster. Phil's going to give us a bit of a chat about both of those tunes, hopefully, and fill us in on why he likes the Yamaha CS15 so much. In fact, we had a Yamaha on last week, didn't we?
We did. It was the... Oh, Christ, which one was it? It was the...
CS80
That was it.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
So,
that was it.
Yeah. So, Phil, I mean, March of the Freaks, what can you tell us about it? It's a cracking tune, by the way.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to do the old food or confectionery related review of it, as it's my own tune, and all those geeks out there that tune in regularly to this show will be interested in all the geeky stuff that I went behind the creation of the song. Well, disappointingly, it was done all in the box, because I find that very convenient these days. I've got a bit lazy. But what I wanted to do, how it originated, I did it as a potential contender for one of the Only Human albums.
Oh, right.
Right. But it didn't get into the short list. But I wanted to make a Calvin Harris type of track, and I did intend to put some vocals on it. There's a girl that I paid to sing down the garage sort of thing, and I was going to get her to warble over the top. She's a wedding singer, so she's got a certain style. Yeah. Often doesn't fit with electronic music. Sort of like a pub singer.
Right, okay.
But anyway, I thought when I'd finished it, I thought, you know what, this sounds all right on its own. It's got a bit of a Calvin Harris leadish thing, and that's basically it. That's what I've submitted.
So what's behind the title? I mean, what was going through your mind when you decided to call it March of the Freaks?
I think it was a period of my life that I was going through, and it was people at work, basically, that were cheesing me off.
Still in the same? Are you still working in the same place?
Listening.
Is that it?
No, this was a previous place where everybody was. It was around Coventry, where there's a lot of people, fraternising with the same family. That type of person.
So when you say
so it inspired the song.
What do you mean by out of the box? What does that mean?
In the box, I mean. Say out of the box.
Whatever.
Yeah.
What is the box?
In the box. I mean, in the computer.
Right.
So it was all done with soft synths. It was done with soft synths and a soft synthy drum machine. Whereas the next track is the one that I did with all hardware.
But again, we've said this before, Andy, as well, that it doesn't matter what you make anything with. It makes no difference whatsoever. If you want to make it with a load of VSTs inside a door, you want to do a load of hardware, as long as the tune sounds fantastic and you like it, who cares? Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when you've got so many talented people that are part of the Only Human collective, people that contribute to this site that are very talented with the hardware aspect of things, you can feel like, oh, am I cheating a bit doing it in the box? But
no,
that's the beauty of this group. Yeah, that's the beauty of this group, is everybody's so accepting and just appreciates anybody's music.
Well, absolutely, and particularly as you're talking to one of the most cack-handed people in the whole group here as well tonight. So, as we were just talking about before, I've got a piece of equipment that just makes any idiot be able to make music. So please don't put yourself down, Phil. You are, the stuff you've stuck out is amazing. It's utterly amazing.
Oh, thank you very much.
That's all right.
Shall we ever listen to it?
Why don't
Should we put it on?
Why don't
Yeah, go on.
So this is Phil's Swirler Burner with March of the Freaks, is it?
March of the Freaks.
March of the Freaks.
Here we go.
Only Human Radio.
Oh, that was great, Phil. I love that. Now, if I was going to put confectionery around that, I would say that was because a bounty bar you can get in 3 different sizes. You can get your fun size, you can get your normal size, you can get your 3-stacker. I'd call that a 3-stacker bounty bar.
Fabulous. I'm getting your feeling there. I can see where you're coming from. I wish I'd thought that myself.
Just a little bit of a I don't know, Caribbean feel about that. A little bit, felt a little bit special. It's not every day. It's
Lovely,
not.
like
It's
yourself,
not. It's not every day you can have a bounty, is it? You're not going to choose a bounty every day. Not like a Mars bar or a Snickers. It's an occasional bar, a bounty. It's a special, but you'll save that for a particular day. Particularly
it is special occasion.
Particularly the 3-stacker. So
Have I walked through a portal?
I like 3-stacker because it rhymes with cracker.
Oh dear me, I've got a sweat on. Right. So, Andy, I think we're going to talk to Phil about his favourite piece of gear, not his favourite confectionery in this next section, because it is
Andy's Gear Geek Corner.
What does that knob do? Oh,
Yamaha CS15.
Indeed, Phil, and what a fine piece of equipment that is. Again, I'll shut up, Andy, and pass over to you with your firmer, harder, and much more capable hands. Ooh.
Right. Okay, so Gear Geek.
That's me.
Yeah, welcome, Commander Phil. Welcome, Phil, to the hallowed slot that is Gear Geek. So I'm going to start with the question I ask everybody. Phil, what is the Yamaha CS15?
Right, this Yamaha CS15 is a late 70s, early 80s mono synth made by Yamaha. Do you want to hear why I ended up getting one?
Go on. Why did you end up getting one?
I was knifed on the way back from a disco.
What?
And with the compensation money, I went out and bought a Yamaha.
Really?
I was going to get a CS5, but when I got there, I found I could afford a CS15.
Is that true?
Okay.
So
That's extraordinary.
So basically, a CS15 to answer your question. I know it is, isn't it? The CS15 to answer your question is a 2-oscillator monosynth with 2 distinct and discrete signal paths with a very flexible mixer section, and the strength of the machine was, apart from it having a fantastic bandpass filter, which meant it could do vowel sounds, which was really unusual. It couldn't self-oscillate on the old filters, for all you geeks out there. So no whistling filters, which was a bit of a disappointment to me. But with the bandpass, you could get these vowel sounds. And also it had a fabulous trigger input with a very sensitive audio trigger. So you could really put your drum machine through it and trigger the notes in time with your drums.
Wow.
Perfectly. A fabulous piece of kit.
So I had a quick look at it before we came on tonight, and it's one of those upright ones, isn't it? It's where the panel is actually vertical.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
I thought it was a Korg when I first
all I knew about
saw it.
Right. Well, all I knew about synthesizers when I was going to buy one was I liked a Moog.
Yeah.
A mini Moog. And when I went to the shop, that was the only one which had the angled back, which looked just like the mini Moog with all the knobs on.
Okay.
And that was the only criteria. It had more knobs than the CS5. That was the criteria I used to buy it. I couldn't play a note. And I was 16 years old.
Wow.
And blew all the cash. And when I got home, my mum says you're not old enough to get a good thrashing buying that. You can't even play a chord on it.
So have you still got that now?
No, I sold it to Andy Meacham of Bizarre Inc. and he's still got it.
Really?
Yeah. So he's got it in his setup.
Phil knows a few people, don't you, Phil?
That's it.
Well, he's from Stafford, so it's not oddly
It's
surprising.
a good
And I'm from Stafford.
And I bet everybody says, "Where did you get that from?" He says, "I bought that from Phil. Swirler Burner." Yeah,
They say never. You don't know him, do you? Mr. Meacham.
So do you think you'll get another one?
I have been toying with the idea, but recently I bought I think you used to have a DeepMind. I bought a DeepMind 6 and I'm absolutely delighted with it. I nearly chose that. I like it so much.
It's an amazing. Well, I had the so you've got the one with the keys, which I can't play. I had the DeepMind 12, which was the desktop version, but it is an astonishing. It's a very deep piece of kit, which is why I sold it. It was too deep for me.
It's far deeper than you'd expect, and I just love it.
Absolutely.
That's my second favourite synth since the old CS15, which I'd recommend anybody to buy even now. Never fell out of tune or anything.
Can you still get hold of it? Is there a reboot of it, or is there are they still?
No, but they're not one of the more fashionable synths, so they're pretty reasonable price still.
Really?
They're still about 500 or 600 quid.
Behringer will knock one out for about 150 quid fairly shortly. Anyway, don't worry about it.
Yeah, they will.
So what kind of stuff were you playing at that time? What were you using it for? What were you in a band or?
Yeah, I was originally in a band called Step 2, and somebody called us Step 2 and Son, and it really cheesed us off. But that was with a guy called John Mottershead. Do you remember him?
I do remember
Did
John.
you ever know him?
Yeah, I did know John.
And he had an SH101, a TB303, and a TR606. So he did the bass, the drums, and the rest of the stuff, and I had just me CS15. So I was lucky to be in the band, I suppose. And then I ended up with Smiley Cooper. Do you remember Smiley?
Smiley, yeah.
And I did a few pop synth duo things with him and used that most of the time.
I don't know if anybody knows who's listening, but Phil used to be in the Adventure Babies. Played keyboards for Adventure Babies, didn't you, Phil? And for those of you who don't know,
I did.
Those of you who don't know, the Adventure Babies were signed to the greatest, in my opinion, British record label ever, which was Factory Records. So there's
a particular claim to fame around that as well, though, isn't there?
We were the last band signed to Factory.
I know, what are the chances? But how many? Did you have 2 singles out?
Yeah, we had a couple of singles out. We had the Camper Van EP, and we had Barking Mad, and then we just mixed Laugh, which was going to be charting in the actual charts, because we got into, I think, about number 4 or something in the indie charts. Could be wrong, yeah. And then we were predicted to actually chart with our next single, but then it all went pear-shaped because Happy Mondays bankrupted the place.
And that was when you actually had to sell a significant number of records to actually get into the charts, whereas now if you get 17 downloads you're possibly at number 17 in the charts, whereas then you actually really sell a significant number to get anywhere.
Yeah, and it did help being on Factory, because of course there's like Factory fans and what have you that would just buy anything.
I was one.
Not that we were bad. In my opinion, we thought we were pretty good, but yeah. But just to keep it on the subject of this show, instead of me blowing smoke up my own backside, because I was signed to one of the most iconic record labels ever.
You were.
I think I'd mentioned it a few times, Phil, if I'd have done that. So yeah, you don't really worry about that.
Yeah.
Well, but I was in a Britpop band. So the keyboard I went out and bought was a Korg Wave Station, which was the most inappropriate keyboard, because what we needed was pianos. It didn't even have a piano sound in it. And I didn't realise till I got it home. I was that obsessed with the synth engine in it. So I had to go out and buy, for about 300 quid or something, a piano card to put in it. Yeah, but it had a really good rotary organ and great strings. I'll give it that.
So the first tune that we played of yours, March of the Freaks, you said that was all computer based, but the next one, so this has got more hardware in it, or is it completely hardware?
I think it's virtually all hardware apart from some of the drums. So I got a list. I wrote a list down of what I could remember was in it. Let me just have a look. So Cyber Gangster, we've got Emu Mofat,
right,
which was doing most of the scratching and those type of... And in fact, the drums were all from hardware, but sequenced from Cubase.
Right, okay.
Because the drums were out of the MoFat as well. And then I'd got a Korg MS-2000, which is a bit like the Korg. You've got the little mini one.
Oh, yeah, the micro Korg,
but a micro Korg. And I used... It's me through the vocoder on that, doing some of the vocoder vocals. Yeah. Don't mess with the cyber gangsters or whatever it is.
You're going down, you're going to pay.
Yeah, no, it's not. Wasn't doing that bit. That was as this hasn't got a wide distribution, I doubt we'll get litigated. But that's a hip hop sample
You're going down,
that I did on my EMU ESI 32 sampler. So it was sampled in a hardware box, ESI 32. And then I think it was a Roland SH32, which is another virtual analog doing the bass.
Yeah.
So it was, it's all virtually done out, sort of with hardware, this one, and with a bit of me doing a bit of vocal on it.
So the sort of motivation behind the track, is it an homage? Is it a bit of a Mickey take, or is it done through a love of this style of music, or was it an exercise in seeing if you could create a piece of music like this?
Yeah, right. There was exactly what I decided. Like the last one, I wanted a Calvin Harris type of track. This one, I wanted to try and sound like the heyday of Pop Will Eat Itself.
Oh right, okay, fair enough.
And like DEFCON 1, you know.
Yeah, it's great track.
Big Mac fries to go, Big Mac fries to go. Give me Big Mac and your fries to go. You know, and all those like Crazy Horses samples and stuff like that. So that's what I started out to do and ended up with like a gangster hip hop track.
It's I love it, I do.
Oh, I've got one thing more thing to say about it. This is how old it is. It used to be on a thing called MySpace.
Blimey.
And on MySpace I had 10,000 followers. And this got to number 4 in the electronica charts.
Brilliant.
On MySpace. Yeah, and with one or two dudes going, hey man, that's what did they call it? Hard track. It wasn't that hard, really.
And then MySpace went bust as well.
I know, that's just how it rolls.
It's a bit of bad luck, that really, Phil, isn't it? You've had a bit of
I wonder how many listeners we're going to get on this one, about one. And then YouTube will go bust.
Phil, I've got one quick question for you. I'm just going to hark back to Gear Geek Corner just very quickly. Yamaha CS15, if you were going to put a confectionery bar against it, which one would it be?
Oh, probably a sherbet fountain. Yeah, it's that licoricey bit, because it's a fairly dark looking synth, and then it's got a lot of fizz.
Oh, see, that's because you're a proper...
A lot of fizz under the bonnet.
That's because you're a proper musician. I'd written down a picnic bar. And that's because...
Why?
I don't know.
Brilliant.
Because nobody... It's just because I'd have liked it on my own and nobody else would have listened to anything I did with it, probably. But anyway, let's get past that melancholy. But you know, everybody loves a picnic bar, but I'd love a sherbet fountain. Should we listen to your song, Phil? I think
Put it on.
This is Swirler Burner. It's Cypher Gangster. Here we go.
Turn that music down. I smell some reefer. You going down? Here come the pain.
down. Here come the pain. You gonna die. Here come the pain. Die.
Cyber Gangster, oh, crikey, well, it was all happening there. You're going down, you're going to pay. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying any more than that. I think you need to know where you are. And I think you do know where you are. Phil's made us all very, very clear on that point.
Yeah.
Nasty piece of work, mate.
Yeah.
Wow. You've got that glint in your eye, Phil. You can tell with some people. It's just that sudden, there's a turn, there's a fret. What am I talking about? Anyway, right up next we've got Rob. We've got Rob Etchasketch, Rob Dixon, with I think is this no? What's this called?
It's Rainy Day.
Rainy Day, and well, Phil,
this is one of.
Yeah, go on, Andy.
This is one of Rob's lockdown tunes. We've mentioned previously, and when we had him on, that he was quite productive throughout lockdown. I mean, despite moving house about 8 times and homeschooling and working, he managed to put an album worth of material together. So, and this is...
Well, and Andy, sorry to interrupt you, but throughout the majority of lockdown, so March, I think, until where we are now, I think 90% of that has been sunny days. It's been beautiful. It's been wonderful weather. I know everything else has been absolutely appalling. However, it's been beautiful sunny weather. However, I think Rob wrote this on the rainy day that was one of those 10%. Exactly. I've got a feeling that was written on there because it sounds like a rainy day. And that's not a bad thing.
I'm going to use one of Rob's phrases because he hashtags a lot when he's on Instagram. And one of the hashtags that I thought, that's quite a nice description, was dark ambient. I think it's his description but I think it's very apt to describe this piece of music.
It is. I'm glad he didn't do hashtag picnic bar because that would have possibly ruined Phil's next confectionery. Phil, what confectionery did you put to this?
I'm waiting to see if...
I have put some confectionery to this, actually, but I've got to say first of all about Rob Dixon and the Etchasketch act that he's the king of modular.
He is.
I mean, how he goes out and plays them live without any fear. I mean, I just wouldn't have the confidence to do it. I mean, I've seen him a couple of times and it's just gobsmacking.
Yeah, it's
what
impressive,
he gets
isn't it?
out of those machines. I mean, one wrong twist of a knob and it could all go quiet.
That's happened to a lot of us.
Yeah, but back to the review. What I was going to say was, I thought I was feeling space food.
Ooh.
You know, like what people have in outer space, floating about, sort of ethereal, and in a bowl, being sucked out of a bowl of sugar-free 7-Up with metallic ice cubes clanging about in there, in the bowl. It was just amazing. I was just taking it. I felt like I was in that blooming Stanley Kubrick film.
Oh, yeah, Space Odyssey.
2001 Space Odyssey.
No, that's the Bowie tune. It's Space Odyssey.
That's it, Odyssey. That's it. Which is also a great act, Odyssey, by the way.
So you're not talking about space dust, the ones that crackle on your tongue?
Oh, you've done it again! You've ruined it!
Really?
How did you come out with that? Oh, God! I was trawling my brain and there it was. I could have said, I mean, space dust. Anyway, well done,
Sorry, my
Jules.
kids had some last week, and I had a little bit, and it made my brain crackle. And it's most peculiar stuff. But you're right,
brilliant,
it is
isn't it?
fantastic, almost as fantastic as this tune. And you described that beautifully, Phil. Wonderfully. How anybody can describe confection so perfectly for a tune. And it's quite a melancholy piece as well. It is quite a, it's a thoughtful, inside-reaching, it's a piece that makes you have a little bit of a think. A bit of a sit down.
It's beautiful.
It reminds me a little bit of early Tangerine Dream, where it exists and it exists in its own kind of universe. It's sort of
good shout, yeah.
Yeah.
Like what you're saying.
It creates its own atmosphere, I think, and you can step in and
clang about in there.
Yeah, have a bit of a look.
It's beautiful.
With your space dust crackling about, Yeah.
Well, I haven't listened to a bit of Tangerine Dream for 20 years, I don't think. And should we have a little listen now? This is what's the song called, Andy?
It's called Rainy Day.
Rainy Day. Rob Dixon, Etchasketch. Here we go.
Only Human Radio.
Modular King. That was another beauty, and it was just lovely, that relaxing and looking out the window and all that.
Can I just say, if you want to hear the rest of the album, it's called Radical Acceptance, and it's available on Bandcamp.
And it is good. So who do you search for? Yeah, so go on, Andy. Yeah, who do you search for?
You search for Etchasketch, and it's there. It's called Radical Acceptance, and I think there's 8 tunes, all recorded, similar vein, similar kind of mood. Some of them are beatsy, some of them are completely ambient. So if that's your thing, then there's more.
Yeah, but if you haven't listened to Etchasketch stuff before, he's amazing. He really is. It's fantastic stuff. There isn't a bad tune in there. So yeah, well done again, Rob. Utterly amazing. Speaking of utterly amazing, we've got a jingle coming up, Andy. We've not mentioned. I thought I'd try to step back a little bit on the jingles. I thought I'd overdoing the jingle promotion, but but to be fair, the Master Blaster jingle. Let's everybody judge themselves. Andy's Master Blaster.
Time for tea.
Mum, I'm doing a jingle. Yeah, if that isn't a BAFTA award-winning jingle, I don't know what is. That's extraordinary, surely, isn't it?
It's the second best jingle on this show.
It's mind-blowing. It is. It's almost as good as that Gear Geek.
That's the best. That's the best jingle on the show.
That's not bad. Yeah, that isn't bad. To be fair, we'll have to get a new jingle for next week. In fact, we could do a show just of jingles.
Yeah, let's just do some jingles.
Yeah, why not? We could give it a crack. But anyway, we are on Andy's Master Blaster, and what a Master Blaster we have. So last week we had Silver Columns playing Columns, which was a fantastic song, just amazing. This week we've got something, and again, you don't want to say it's better than anything else or anything like that, but crikey, this is good, Andy. Where have you picked this little beauty out from?
Well, this is by a guy called Martin Christie. He was originally called Poet and the Loops, but he's gone back to his original name. Now, I can't remember basically Martin Christie is one of, or the head honchos of the electronic music open mic movement. So he's taken the blueprint of open mic, people strumming guitars, turning up with guitars and singing their songs and everything, and he's turned that into an electronic music open night where people turn up with boxes, people turn up with little bits of kit, and I think they have a 15-20 minute slot to set up, play and take down. Very much
that's right.
But Phil, you've actually been to one of these nights, haven't you?
There's one runs in Leicester, and I've been to unfortunately just one of them. One of them fell unfortunately on a Chester night at the Story House, so I had to miss that one. But yeah, that's fantastic, absolutely brilliant.
So Martin Christie is the guy who is behind this particular movement, and it was inspirational to me because I've been making music in my bedroom for many years. Got to the point where I started to feel as if I should do a little bit more. Googled around, had a look, and the name Martin Christie came up. Then I realised he was a musician, which led me to his SoundCloud page and led me to this tune that we're going to play this evening. So the tune is very inspirational, but also the sort of the EMOM electronic music open mic network that Martin's built up over the last couple of years. So very, very inspirational. I'd love to have him on the show one time. That would be also fantastic. But the tune I've chosen of his is called On the Day of the Oligarchs. And it's possibly the first time I've heard a cowboy-style, bonanza-style melody line set to a chip tune. It shouldn't work, but it really does, and it's absolutely amazing. I think you guys have heard it as well, haven't you?
Oh, absolutely. Phil, what do you think?
Well, sticking with the theme, I felt it was like an overdose of toxic waste sour candies that the kids used to have at the beginning. That chip sound, like 8-bit almost, makes your teeth jangle, but in a good way. Yeah. And I felt it was washed down with a pint of lilt, because it's got a sort of a reggae sort of feel to it, and It sounded like it was all being played on the veranda of a Texan ranch.
Yes.
Owned by President Putin. And I'm going to tell you, it's not very often these days that you can say something's unique and original,
absolutely.
but I've never heard anything like it.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Can I summarise, Phil, and say Mum's made me eat a lime and I've had a Caramac to counteract?
Oh, you doing it again? You've nailed it again! It took me hours to think up that review.
Love a Caramac. When I was listening to this as well, I was trying to work out which computer game I thought it sounded a little bit like. Is there a bit of Qbert in there? Is there a little bit of Qbert? Maybe not. Or does anybody else know Qbert, or is it just me?
It's just you, I think. But you.
But you
know,
do you remember Qbert? It used to jump up like it was a pyramid of squares.
Yeah.
He used to jump up, and he had two legs. He had no arms. Qbert used to jump up.
Did he have a big nose?
Like a load of cola squares.
It was the worst arcade. If you'd put 10p in that, you'd have wasted your 10p. You should have played Scramble or Defender.
I contacted him just before the show started. You wanted to know how we'd made it, and it turns out he got back to me. It's made on a Teenage Engineering pocket operator.
No way.
The arcade version.
No way. What? Just that one piece of equipment?
Yeah, it's a Teenage Engineering pocket operator. They're about 70 quid.
Yeah.
They look like calculators, don't they?
Yeah. That is ridiculous. So this tune is made on that. So I mean, obviously he's recorded his voice as well, so he's stuck it into a DAW or something like that. But seriously, all the tune, that is amazing.
That just makes it even more fascinating.
Well, I tell you what, we've built this up quite significantly, and everybody's probably got their Caramacs lined up and their God knows what else. So we should have a listen. This is Martin Christie on the day of the oligarchs.
Only Human Radio.
Let me tell you a little story. Happened long time ago, when the people were swept aside by the laws of the land. Whoa, 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 whoa. But you know, the whip cracks away. You know, the whip cracks away. And on the first day of the oligarchs, the ruling elite created workers. And on the second day of the oligarchs, the ruling elite created money. And on the third day of the oligarchs, the ruling elite created banks. And on the fourth day of the oligarchs, the ruling elite created warfare. And I believe that all of these things never last. Cast aside a stranger from your distant past. Call aside an offering of everything you know. Can't don't believe in difference or where you need to go. Let me tell you another story. Happened more recently when the people were unable to vote in a referendum. Whoa, 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 whoa. But you know, whoa, the whip cracks away. You know, whoa, the whip cracks away.
Martin Christie. That wasn't that just anyway, if you haven't heard Cubit before, look up Cubit on I'm sure that was Cubit, but that was just utterly amazing.
There is more Martin Christie. There's more Martin Christie available, so go and check it out. I love it. It's ace.
Utterly amazing. Proper 16-bit madness and fantasticness. Now, again, as always, there's a point in the night where we reach a pinnacle and it just gets too difficult to actually... Everything else, like... I don't know, goes into an insignificant cloud because there's something that really shines out amongst it all, like some kind of star that's brought a little bit closer to the earth, and everything's got a little bit brighter to us all. Our hearts are warming. It's you, Andy. It's you.
Oh, thank you. So kind. So kind.
It's you with Dance Balloon. I don't want to mention it.
Ballon.
You spent Dance
Ballon.
Anyway, but apart from that, go on, mate. It's a fantastic song.
Thank you.
But it is.
Don't ask me what a dance ballon is. I don't know. It's just two silly words I thought were funny at the time.
Well,
it's
French
for.
Sorry, go on.
It's French for. You should pronounce it dance ballon, and it's roughly translates into dance balloon. So, or dance ball.
I love some dance balloons.
And the only difference between the French and the English is the letter C has been changed for the letter S.
Yes.
So I'm glad you explained that was French, because it just looked like a spelling error. But I wrote down toe tapping, head nodding, wink inducing beat. I could see myself in a bar seeing a lovely French lady in the corner, perhaps with a small quiff, giving a little nod and a wink of the eye, wandering over and then get a drink splashed in my face. Exactly. I could see that exactly. And I'm sure Phil has got some kind of confection we can link into this.
Yeah, I was thinking along the lines of Bazooka Joe, the bubbly gum, that you could chomp away on it on the dance floor and then blow a bubble which would look like a ballon.
Would you do it in a heart shape?
Ballon.
Would you do it in a heart shape?
Fabulous again, though, Andy. Sorry, Jules.
So, would you just dip your hand in the top and put it in a heart shape as you did it?
Absolutely, yeah. Whilst never stopping a beat to dance ballon with the Bazooka Joe out at full expanse.
You would
obscuring your whole face.
You'd have
fabulous.
Clicked your Cuban heels, flicked a cigarette to the side, and then push your arm around her waist and scooped her out of the room.
Absolutely. But I don't know how, honestly, I don't know how Andy does it. He outputs so much quality stuff all the time. I just think, oh my God, how's he get the time to do it? He's amazing.
Well, if a tune is 5 minutes long, then I've spent about 10 minutes on it. So...
Well, that's even worse, because if you can kick stuff like this out in 10 minutes, that's just annoying. I'm being slightly disingenuous. I made this for Rob and Modulate TV, so this was a jam that had taken. I'd spent a bit of time on it,
but because there is a video of it on YouTube, this is just the audio, but I think Rob's going to use it for the next Modulate TV as well, so you're going to have to hear it again.
Does the video is the video of me and Phil in a disco with Phil blowing bubbles and me trying to chat about French girl with a quiff and that whole?
If you can film that in time, then go for it.
Phil, should we do that?
Oh, it'd be fabulous. It couldn't fail, could it? It'd be like an MTV classic, but done now instead of the 80s.
Should we ever listen?
Yeah.
This is Andy Peggs with Dance Ballon.
Only Human Radio.
Oh, Dance Balloon. No, sorry, Andy. Dance Ballon. Well, that was magnificent. Really, what beautiful. Toe tapping, head nodding, wink and doosing.
Fabulous.
There was nothing short.
You're very kind. Really
Well,
kind. Thank you.
Well. You know, you are magnificent. You know you are. You know you are.
Thanks.
That was like a little warm arm around the shoulder, just to say, you know you are, Andy. We all know.
It's got 2 electrons on it.
Is there?
Yeah,
How many?
But 2.
Oh, well, that's not lots. That's 2.
I can't afford lots.
Yeah. And remember, kids, no spitting your Bazooka Joe out onto the disco dance floor. Very poor form.
Otherwise, you might get in that French lady's stilettos, and then that's really ruined our chances. Good Lord knows what will happen. Anyway, so that was Danse Blanc from Andy, and we're moving on now to we've got the wonderful Martin Eve. We had Martin on last week, didn't we? We were chatting to Martin last week. He was very knowledgeable.
Was it the week before?
Where's the time
Spall
going?
on last week.
Crikey, we did. Oh, absolutely,
and
we
it was
did.
Martin's a month ago now.
A month ago. Where did that month go? But Martin is, the guy, he knows his stuff. He's a seasoned professional. And again, he's popped it in a little tune here, which is, I don't know. It's hard to know how to... I couldn't write a lot down for this. It's just beautifully subtle.
He sent over a number of tunes, and to be honest with you, the standard's that high, I could have just picked any of them, really. I mean, I like this one because it gets quite rhythmic, but any of them would have been absolutely wonderful to listen to. But I think you're right, they are quite delicate and quite sophisticated, aren't they?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, everything he does has just got that real air of professionalism around the whole thing. And they're always wonderful. Well, how did you find it, Phil?
Well, just before I review it, I've just realised about his act's name, Fourth Eden. I mean, his name is Martin Eve. I'm going to suggest he should perhaps change his name by default to Adam Eve, and in the Garden of Eden, the Fourth Eden. I can see what he's done there with his act. I'm guessing, of course. I don't know him personally. Do you think I've hit the nail? I don't know. But anyway, let me get on with the review.
You might have.
Maybe he's not a Scientologist. But yeah,
I'm sure he'll come in with some comments if he's listening in. But we'll see. But my review is, once again, around the theme of food, would you believe? There's like a slurpy sort of a swishy sound to it. I felt it was like sucking up licorice shoelaces, covered in kali. We've got certain fears, a certain suction to it. Then, like you say, surprisingly, in comes the rhythmic elements. And it sounds like he's like sucking this kali up from a punch bowl of iron brew. And with the fizzing and the bubbling of the iron brew, gobstoppers are being chucked into the bowl, dung, 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 bouncing from the sides in a fabulous ambient rhythm. It's a work of art, absolutely. The juxtaposed rhythm to the ambience of the beginning and the build. He is a man that's mastered the art of putting the tune together. This is no amateur here. This is a guy that knows what he's doing.
Have you had any ketamine tonight, Phil?
Why are you I've heard about you, Jules.
I like the gobstoppers. I do like the gobstoppers, but
you listen to it now and you'll hear them. It's an amazing sound. I don't know how he's come up with the sound, but I was struck by it.
Martin Eve, Fourth Eden. What was that song called, Andy? That was just wonderful.
Third Eye.
Third Eye, yeah, absolutely marvellous. I know Phil loved the title of the song as well as everything else. It was just a beautiful, beautiful song.
Yeah.
All in all, a magnificent piece from Martin then again. So thank you so much, Martin, for everything you've done for us, and all of your input so far. And it's just great having you part of our community. And what a wonderful community we have. And what a wonderful show we've had tonight. I didn't mention before, that was our last tune. I didn't want to bring the night down because we've had such a fantastic, uplifting night, mostly because we've had Phil in the room. Phil, thank you so much. It's been an absolute delight chatting to you tonight.
Well, it's an absolute honour, guys, because this is quality that's been pumped out on this station. Quality.
Anyway, shall we do a quick rundown of the tunes we've had tonight? I think we probably ought to, really. Oh, good Lord. But what a night it's been. We've had Sword Swinging Robot. What was Andy, you're going to have to help me out here. So if I shout Clockwork, thank you. If I shout out the artist, you shout out the tune. Sword Swinging Robot, Clockwork. We had Dr. Skine with...
it's Bad Request with Jib.
Jib. It was actually Jib, Bad Request. You're absolutely right there, which was fantastic. There was a little bit of that speeded up accordion or something or other in there. Then we kicked in with a bit of Phil with, was it March of the Freaks?
March of the Freaks.
March of the Freaks. That was the Bounty Bar song. Then we had a little bit of Gear Geek Corner and we mixed into another one of Phil's ones, which is Cyber Gangster, which is that utterly superb sort of late 90s vibe, I would say. You're going down, you're going to pay song. What was it called?
Cyber Gangster.
Cyber Gangster, of course it was. Then we mixed straight into Rob Etchasketch, which was a beautiful melancholy piece, which was it Rainy
Day?
Rainy Day. And then we went straight into Martin Christie. Good Lord, what a song that was. I can even remember the name of this song, which was On the Day of the Oligarchs.
It's
amazing
awesome.
Lyrics.
We didn't even mention the political lyrics at all.
I know, the lyrics are amazing. I nearly swore then as well about how good that was. We haven't ever sworn on the show, but that was just utterly, utterly amazing. And then we, obviously, we had the pinnacle of the show. It was Dance Ballon from Andy Peggs. Yep, just spell dance correctly next time, Andy, if you and then we went straight into Martin Eve, Fourth Eden, with, what was that one called, Andy?
The Third Eye.
Third Eye, of course it was. Wonderful stuff. All night. What an amazing selection of tunes. But you know what? Most of anything, I've really enjoyed talking to Phil tonight. And no offence to you, Andy. It's always a pleasure talking to you. But, you know.
If ever I can't make it, then we know who to call, don't we?
Well, we do. And also,
I think we've definitely got a new member there.
I wanted to go to the toilet 10 minutes ago, but I didn't want to miss Andy's confectionary corner. Not Andy. Well, you know. So, you know. Who would have wanted to miss that? Andy's confectionery corner with Phil. Who would have wanted to miss that?
Marvellous.
Yeah, it's a new feature. We'll have a jingle for that next week. Should we stop rambling and perhaps say goodnight?
Yeah.
You going to say the big night? Say the big night, Andy.
Au revoir. Bonne nuit.
Oh. Ballon. Phil?
Dance ballon.
Indeed.
Au revoir.
Indeed.
Mon chéri.
I would give that a 9 out of 10 goodbye. And that's not bad. Good night, everybody. Stay safe. Keep warm.
Good night.
Look out for the sunshine. Bye-bye.
Only Human Radio.